This is a subject of weak center. Traditionally, you get a lot of openings that are directed to fight against the center. For example, the Grunfeld, you allow white to get a center and then you start attacking it. And this particular game I played was against an opponent that I had a very good score with, Alexander Morozevich. But this game didn't quite work out, as you will see. If we look closer to the position, white has 4 pawns for a bishop. And you would mistakenly think white should be at least okay. The reality is very sad, because with this weak pawn on e4, white will have to somehow push one of the pawns. And if you push the e pawn, black will get the control of the white squares anytime he plays bishop b4, and even if he exchanges, then the blockade will inevitably happen. If you push the d pawn, there is even more danger, because you may lose both of them. In the game, I was already in a time trouble, and I didn't put up quite a resistance, but this is a good example of having a weak center and not being able to solve the problems. I played h3, knight g8. This is a very good move. So it highlights the problem of having the pawns that cannot really protect themselves. So, for example, if I play e5, then after bishop b4 or rook c8, how my opponent played, it's easy to see that black gets full control over the position. And d5 just fails to bishop c5 and knight f6. None of the pawns are movable, and rook e8, bishop b4 are in the air. So, or rook e8, and he can also attack the f4 pawn at any moment he desires with knight h5. But I think it would have been a better option not to play e5. Maybe to try even to play a3, b4, make the center even weaker, but at least protect against this bishop b4 idea. So in the game I went e5, rook c8, and yeah, at this moment I already didn't know what to do, because I somehow want to move this knight to stop bishop b4, but after rook d3 there is bishop a6, and after rook e1, knight e7 is extremely unpleasant, because once I remove the knight, the rook will enter. So I went, bishop is here, sorry. I went d5, bishop b4, and e6, rook d8, knight e4, rook d5. It might seem naively that white got some play, because the pawn is on e6, the knight is still on g8, but there is nothing, because the knight will just protect the bishop on d5, and the rook will enter on c2. And especially such position is horrendous, because the two bishops are becoming a force. And the problem with weak center is that the bishops from distance can really hit it, like in this game. So the rest of the moves are unnecessary, but this is what happened. I went bishop d4, rook c2, g4. If only I had one move and somehow played f5 to protect this little guy, but it's too late already. So he played bishop d2, rook f1, and bishop c1. the most precise rook g2 check is coming. So I resigned 2 moves later. So this is a good example of the quality of the center being far more important than the amount of pawns that you have. So had my pawn been on f3 from the start, it would have been a very solid center and a big advantage for white. But with this overextended center, you will slowly lose its shape, and you will lose one of the pawns, and then the next pawns will follow.